Time is 7 p.m. Tonight's opening prayer will be delivered by Reverend Julie Lehman Guy. Please stand and remain standing for the pledge of allegiance.
O God of heaven and earth, we give you thanks and praise for another day, for the springtime as new growth blossoms, reminding us of your unfailing love, for this community that we call home. We seek your protection for all those who are suffering from violence. Protect those who defend both near and far, especially our first responders, our service members, and our elected officials. Grant wisdom and compassion to those who are called to lead our nation, our state, and our community. Teach us to love one another as you love us, and help our community to grow in compassion and kindness as we learn to listen, to disagree, to set aside our personal agendas, and to care for those most vulnerable. Lead us and guide us each and every day. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Ott, will you please call the roll?
Member Pierpont.
Here.
Member Orr. Here. Member Wyatt.
Here.
Member Matheny.
Here.
Member McCleaster.
Here.
Member Pratt.
Here.
Member Stocker.
Here.
7 present.
Excellent. Okay. Items under consideration. Can I get a motion to approve as presented the minutes from April 6th, 2026, Committee of the Whole and City Council meeting, and April 13th, 2026, City Council meeting?
Motion to approve.
We will make the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve as presented the Apple Grove Street Northwest Resurfacing Project Contract Award for Engineering? Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And can I get a motion to approve as presented the codification updates to Chapter 155 Post Ordinances 12/2026 and 13/2026?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Excellent. We do not have anyone signed up for public speaks on legislation that is on the agenda. So we will move right into new business. At this time, the floor is open to the nominations to the Civil Service Commission.
I'd like to nominate Jennifer Quinn.
And I would like to nominate Dennis Coy. Are there any other? Okay, one minute, making a note. All right, seeing none, the floor is closed to further nominations. Is there a motion and a second to?
So we'll do a roll call vote.
Roll call.
So the candidates are Jennifer Clay and Dennis Coy. When called, please. Member Pierpont.
Kling.
Member Orr.
Coy.
Member Wyatt.
Coy.
Member Matheny.
Boy.
Member McCleaster.
Coy.
Member Pratt. Member Stocker.
Dennis Coy. For the record, I think they were both fine candidates.
Absolutely.
So nice to have people.
So with 4 votes in the affirmative, would be Dennis Coy.
All right, so I hereby appoint to the Civil Service Commission with 4 votes, Dennis Coy, and to Mr. McCleaster's points, both excellent candidates. Hopefully we can find something for Mrs. Kane to participate in. All right. Liam, will you please read the title of ordinance 17/2026?
An ordinance authorizing appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures for the period beginning January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31st, 2026.
Mr. McCleaster, finance property.
Yeah, so this is No changes from what we talked about last week. I think the big point is that we have, we're approving a transfer of $605,000 from the proceeds of the sale of 1206 North Main Street. And that'll be used, for, the capital improvement of the police department.
That's renovation.
And again, I don't think anything's new has come in since last week,
Nope.
Jim.
Nope, nothing.
Maybe,
I'll just continue.
Yeah,
So, yep, so we have the police renovation. that Jamie just talked
Jen, can you keep your voice up? I
Yeah.
can't hear you with this.
Yep, so we have the 605,000 transfer to capital to spend on the police renovation project. And then we have, insurance, we talked about the insurance, premium going up. And so the appropriations are pretty much just that. So we need to budget for more, property liability and fleet insurance.
thanks, Jim.
Any other questions, comments? Is there a motion to adopt the first reading of ordinance 17 of 2026?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
So moved.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And is there a motion to adopt ordinance 17, 2026 under suspension of the rules?
Motion to adopt.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yes. So on the appropriation side, it's for finance to make sure that they can balance their books every month.
Yep,
Yep.
so it's a common thing, you know, we always
Yep.
do it.
Yep. And that's good. It's important that we let everybody know why things are on emergency. I agree.
Did you ever get that other estimate from that large company?
The other insurance company?
Yeah.
No, we're still waiting on that.
Oh,
Like I said, it could be a couple months.
Okay.
Let's move on to next one. Liam, will you please read the title of ordinance 18, 2026?
An ordinance establishing chapter 165, real property transactions of the codified ordinances of the city of North Canton, thereby establishing provisions for the disposition of real property owned by the city.
Okay, Mr. McLeister, under the property side, finance.
And we talked about this last week. I think we've given a brief description about how the city can dispose of real property, real estate, and how they've been limited. This change gives us more options for the sale of property. Does not restrict us to sending it to the CIC. It just opens up options for us. And again, Jim, I'm not aware of any changes since we talked about this last week.
Nope, just gives the city some flexibility.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with that, I would move that we adopt, ordinance, or we pass the first reading of ordinance 18, 2026.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving along quickly tonight. All right. Liam, will you please read the preamble for recognition of those that want to speak?
At this time, members of the public who have signed up to address city council will be called to do so. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes. Speakers shall be called in the order they signed up. During this section, comments shall be limited to items reasonably under the city's authority. The rules for speaking and the speaker's time will appear on the screens. After you have finished speaking, please remain at the podium to answer questions from the officials at the dais.
Mr. Rohrbach, first on the list.
Can you just state your name, please?
Matt Rohrbaugh, Rohrbaughh, 217 Allen Street, Southwest, North Canton. All right, how's everybody doing? Good. So I've been out for a while, had some medical things going on, but I've been watching from home. Y'all look pretty lonely last few meetings, we had 3 people in the seats. And then, Mr. Stalker's plea for public speaks, I was like, yeah, I'll go, it's all good. So I took some notes too as I watched. You guys had a lot of fun recently. First thing though wasn't with the notes. I received, and I think Mr. Stalker brought something up a month or 2 ago similar, an open permit inspection letter from Mr. Van Gundy. A year ago, I had a water heater installed. I had it installed by a plumber. This says it's still open, but if I don't contact them to schedule an appointment within 30 days of the date, it will be closed. So that kind of makes it odd. Like, do I need to have it inspected or is it just going to close? And what's going to happen if they just close it? It doesn't tell me. I keep forgetting to call. I just remember tonight when I was coming down, I was like, oh, I'll just ask about it. And, you know, if I was a homeowner that had the skills and the tools, I know from previously working in building materials with that people don't even bother the permit. But when you've got plumbers that want to keep plumbing in the city, they're about the permit. How would the homeowner know to get this inspected? Who's responsible for the homeowner to know? Because my plumber's in Brunswick, they're not coming back for inspection. So I got that. Secondly, over the last, I'd say 3 to 4 meetings, a handful of you up there have each at one time or another asked about residential streets. And I know on April 6th, it turned into confusion about projects which are already been listed in the Sun and also been listed by Rob, what's his last, Graham. All right, and then at some point it was said, hey, we should bring him in to talk about him, which he already has, and again, they're listed in the Sun. What I believe those of you on the council have asked, and I know I've been asking, what is the plan for the residential streets? It's almost a year since we got the income tax increase. I know we need to get the new grinder or whatever, but is there at least a list of which residential streets are going to be priority in order, not necessarily saying to get done, when they'll get started? Because regardless of the income tax, Mr. Young did state that $1.6 billion was found, and that money was there unless it's being used for something else. So I just wanted to bring that up because I'm curious about the residential streets. It was one of the things that got me to vote for the income tax increase. I asked the chief a little bit earlier when I was coming in. With my Facebook group, I posted something, and I don't like to call out people in the group to make them know, but I've been made aware by various people in various parts of the city. Stop signs don't exist in this city lately in various places. My stop sign, I've got a better view of it because they're rearranged. Left turns like it's not even there. They're flying through. I know that the speed detector has been sitting in City Hall for a while. Feel free to put it in my yard if you want to run out.
Around.
Seem to be rolling pretty good from that county school up there. But also I was told that the Worsler 7th Street, which is not even, it's just a regular one stop, and they're going through that. People, a constituent sees people running that very, daily. 6th and Orchard, I know that they run that one daily as they're cutting through there from 7th to get over to Main Street. And I'm sure there's many others. So I've got that, streets, stop signs. That's it. Anything for me?
Excellent. Any questions for Mr. Rohrbach? Thank you.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Chief, if you'd like to address just briefly, since you're not on the reports at the end of the meeting.
Just related there. Sorry, I missed the post on Facebook.
No, I don't expect you to. I just.
Did miss that on stop sign. It does help with any of these that we have time frames for this. When we're talking about a shift that has 4 to 5 officers available on it. We are very fortunate that our big concern typically in town is traffic enforcement. So we try to get in the area to be most efficient. So if we have a time frame when traffic comes through, so we're not sitting there at the wrong time frame. Because we don't want to come back and say, well, we spent 20 hours in the last month sitting there and we had nothing. Well, come to find out, we weren't sitting there at the right time. So we try to be efficient in that operation. Unfortunately, with stop signs, I can't get the same data that I can from the speed signs from our stop staff, which is our covert speed data machine. I can't get the type of info from that related to stop signs.
What's the best way to communicate those times and issues and concerns to the police department? On the emergency line? or-
They can do it on an emergency line, they can send us a contact form, that's usually how some of the neighbors reach out to us and express concerns about speeding complaints on their streets. We do have several areas. We have, a hotspot is up around the high school. That is in play during, and most action times seem to be around lunchtime. So we try to steer our officers to be in areas that are gonna be effective. And that's in and around regular calls. So it just depends on what else is going on the shift, but we try to be proactive in that aspect. We're not perfect, we always need to help the community to help pinpoint the time frame for them.
Right, and I think all of our concerns is just safety for pedestrians and other vehicles.
Yes.
On the road. Thank you, Chief. Mr. Patterson. Name and address, I think you know the normal routine.
Think I know the deal? Hi, everybody.
Good evening.
Pat Patterson, 1754th Street, Columbus Falls. Good to be back, get back into some routines and whatnot. Just working for a living, killing. Palm Sunday, we had our most recent community walk. About a half dozen of us there on a chilly, nice looking Sunday morning. Covered a good part of the first ward, including, right behind us here. Came into my old neighborhood and went down to West Park, Doug Webster joined us.
Can you keep your, voice up
Okay,
into my old neighborhood and went down to,
I lost my track. Doug Webster was with us. Okay, we'll just pick up there. And, yeah, he's with the Heritage Society, those that don't know. And, he brings a wealth of knowledge about community history and whatnot. So, yeah, he's definitely welcome. Welcome addition. Our next community walk will be on the 10th of May. 8 a.m. We will be meeting at the main lot on 7th Street in Dogwood. And anybody who would, we definitely welcome you at 8 a.m. We usually go about 2.5, 3 miles, even though we kind of fractured that last time. I think we ended up doing about 3.5 when it was all said and done. We got a little carried away, but, still a good time was had by all. Completely 100% free, to come. No sign up sheets, nothing, you just show up. And, rumor has it, there's treats even afterwards. We should have a time of fellowship and goodies. That's all I have tonight, really.
We allowed to bring our mothers.
You may, you can bring your mom, you can bring your
It's
dad.
Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day.
Yeah, lower. I've taken a couple beatings for that.
And then Pat, for those, the uninitiated, you obviously live in the Falls. Do you
Yes.
want to talk a little bit more about what your past and present connection
that's
to
cool.
North Canton is?
Cool. It's a strong urging of my mom and dad. I had moved to North Canton in 1971 at the tender age of 2.5. And, grew up actually, literally backyard and a half from here. We used to actually cut through a backyard, cut through the Civic Center yard here, to go to the park. We're that close. Went to kindergarten through 4th grade at Northwood. 5th grade, 6th grade, I went to Orchard Hill. 7th grade, I was part of the last class to graduate, or not graduate, but to go to the Portage Middle School. I went to Charlotte for a year, went to University for 4 years. Was here until decided to chase the girl to Columbus Falls. Not because of her, but I've regretted it ever since. Yeah, again, not because of her. If you're watching. Keep tabs on me. No, so my heart has always been here. And, one of my biggest regrets, not marrying her, that's not one of my biggest regrets, one of the beauty things in my life. But leaving town is probably one of the biggest regrets that I have. And if I had the wherewithal to do it, I don't do that.
Perfect work.
I currently work in the city. The roots are very, very deep.
Jokes.
Very proud. Very,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Now we move on to department reports. Mayor Stryan.
All right. Well, I was honored to be able to throw out the ceremonial first pitch for the North Canton Little League, which was an honor being a former Little Leaguer, and I played baseball for years after college even, and I can't speak highly enough about the North Canton Little League Association and what they do, and the opportunities that they provide for all the kids and even the adults that come in and watch. And it's just a top class, first class organization. So,
Was it a strike?
it would, I think so. You know, I thought it was. You
It
know,
was
I'm
like
not
the
an
back
umpire,
left
but,
corner
you
of
know,
the plate, so yes.
Okay.
I threw a little heat there, I thought, you know,
It was
but we'll see.
One of the fastest ones I've seen.
There's a video.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
I was, you know, there's a 12-year-old behind the plate, so I didn't, you know, go
Didn't
full
want to
through,
give you
full
heat,
throttle. But I brought a little heat, so you guys can see on the video, it's posted. But I want to talk about the America 250 Gala for the last time. So the VIP opens at 6, regular attendance opens at 7. There's still tickets available. We're still accepting sponsorships, and would love for you to be there. I think you can still buy tickets, right? Yeah, but it's getting close because it's Friday. So if you're thinking about doing it, Orba, you should, you know, pull the trigger on that.
Keep going. Very totally.
Oh,
That's
way to
funny.
close. Let's see what else we have. It was, I don't want to steal the thunder from personnel, but it was Administrative Professionals Day, and we have an awesome staff, and I want to thank them. And I think that's all I've got.
Excellent. Administration.
Thank you. I'll start off with the permit process, just to clarify for you and for others. And I find always that this is a very, you know, confusing process sometimes to homeowners that aren't in it all the time. So was it a hot water tank? Is that what you said? Or
Yeah.
Okay, so in that example, putting in a hot water tank, you hire a professional to do it. That professional should be a registered contractor with us, probably was. Then they go in, they do the work. It is up to them to actually schedule the inspection and have the inspection be done, because the inspection needs to be done. Make sure that they did everything up to code for, you know, building standards, make sure it's safe, and that protects you. So what happened, like you said, a homeowner doesn't know that. And so then the homeowner gets this letter and is thinking, was I supposed to do this? No. So your step is to call the plumber that you use and say, hey, I got this letter from the city. What the city's saying when they give you 30 days is saying this hasn't been done. And if it's not done in 30 days, because I think you were kind of saying what's going to happen. It's just closed out as an incomplete, and then that means that the inspection wasn't passed. You know, it's incomplete inspection. Why that's important is if you know, if anything were to go wrong, if something were to, you know, there's valves and things, if something were to blow up, your insurance company would say, was this work inspected? And that's why you pull a permit. That's the other thing. A lot of people think, you know, they could just do things on their own. We have a lot of people just DIY in it. And we say this so many times, it is not a money grab from the city. It is not just red tape. The permitting process is there to protect you as a homeowner on the work that's being done. So, you know, there's reasons that the codes exist. There's reasons they say certain things like a deck when you're, you know, making the holes in the ground to put the deck in has to go be so many inches below the frost line and all of these things so that that deck doesn't collapse later. And I know some people think, well, you've got a buddy that can do it, you know, for free. He's not registered. He doesn't get it inspected, but then that homeowner isn't protected if anything happens with that work. So I imagine that they've done an audit of the system. And that's why you get the letter. They kind of go back and audit and see who's still open, and then those letters go out. So that's how that process works. Also want to talk about, I'm not going to steal any thunder from Trisha because she's going to go up and she's going to talk more, but like you said, the gala's coming up, and I know you're probably going to say it, but I'll say it anyway. I want to thank our sponsor for that. That is Wenger, and they were the key sponsor over it. So they gave a nice contribution to the city, and she's going to talk more about sponsorships and great things happening there. We'll talk, I think we'll have more time to keep talking because this isn't this week, but next week, the downtown of the DART, the envisioning session that is on May 5th, right? Cinco de Mayo. We will be at Dogwood Pavilion. at 6 PM for the community to come out. And that's the downtown assessment resource team. Is that what that is? And it's envisioning our downtown. We always say it's in our master plan that we want to have a, revitalized downtown. We want a happening downtown. We want a downtown that looks like other great downtowns we visit. Well, how do you get there? And what do you want? What do you see that as a community? This is the community's opportunity to come forward and talk. It's an envisioning session. So it's putting things up, and I'm sure we'll have, a facilitator, a moderator, and that is from Heritage, Ohio. So just want to talk about that. Thank you to Jennifer and Dennis. I mean, it's great that we had 2 people for civil service commissioners. Usually we're like trying to find people. So 2 great people. You picked one. I heard somebody say we always have other spots, so we'll find something else for Jennifer, I'm sure, that she can help with. Also, I just wanted to say, Sunday, I was out at Girl Scouts. I know Christina was out there too. Did anyone else swing by the Girl Scout Council? They had their open house. So I'm wearing my little Girl Scout pin they gave me. And, it's just kind of a walkthrough. So I think we may have talked about it before. Jason and I had a call with, someone with Girl Scouts of Northeastern Ohio organization. They're embarking upon a large project that they're going to do in creating a new, STEM for girls, science, technology, engineering, and math. What's the name of the program?
Say maybe Discovery.
It's really cool.
It sounded really cool.
Yeah, they're gonna be really just redoing that. They're gonna keep the shell of the building, but the interior is gonna change a lot. So they're kind of letting everybody walk through, see how it is now, and then there's gonna be a lot of changes, gonna be a lot of great stuff in there. For girls to really learn more about careers in those fields. And we're going to work on a collaborative project together. We both wrote for a capital award to our local legislators, and ours has to do with Rotary Park to maybe do some improvements in Rotary Park with whatever we can get, improve some parking. If you've ever been to Rotary Park, it's the trail to nowhere. It just kind of goes back. It'd be nice if it even just looped around and came back out. Not too much in Rotary Park, maybe if we can get a little money, put some benches in there, better parking, depends upon how much money we get. If we get enough money, we'd also like to add a little restroom out there, because what Girl Scouts wants to do is they're also ready for a capital award, and they want to put a playground behind their building, and that would be open to the public. So we're working with them. We own some land back there, so we may be able to work with them. And when the capital awards are looked at, they do like to see collaborative community projects. So it's a little bit of Rotary Park, it's the city, it's the Girl Scouts. They would love improvements over there at the park because they do outside programming. So the girls could go over there and, hike, little city hiking. And that's all I have.
Deputy Director of Administration.
No report this evening.
Okay, so
Finance is
yeah,
next.
yeah.
Looking right
So
at you.
I just briefly want to address Mr. Rohrball and the new council in terms of street repaving. So obviously, we usually budget $400,000 a year for annual street repaving. We had the income tax increase to 2% last year, effective beginning of this year. So it takes some time to collect that. So this year, we currently don't have the usual $400,000 street repaving like we usually do. That will be here for next year. That will continue going further. But we do have some projects in-house that we're doing along with Rob's Apple Grove in conjunction with his waterline project and his 9th and Weber waterline construction. There's also going to be paving on that. Matt Morrow gave me kind of the roads that he plans on and alleys he plans on repaving this year, and I'll just bring you through some of these. The Fair Oaks Alley between 7th and 5th, Pacific Alley off of Meadow Lane, spot paving Marcor, Greenway between Knoll and Meadow Lane Park, a park between 7th and 5th, the Parks Department parking lot, first 50 to 75 feet of the Heiser Way, where it's really bad. One lane on Lorena between Donner and Lindy Lane for the waterline project. And then after that, he's gonna reevaluate the asphalt budget and see where they're at to see what else they can do. So the annual repaving will be back on for next year, but as of right now, that's what we have for 2025, for 2026.
Now, if I can ask a question, don't we normally spend about 400,000?
Yeah.
And we're not, what happened to that money?
We're not doing that this year, just because we had a shortfall for this year for, balancing the year, so.
We discussed it in budgeting, if you recall.
So can I chime into that? So I think where the confusion lies, and I'll take a little bit of the blame. So I was public speak citizen in January of last year, asking council at the time, what are we gonna do about streets when we're asking everyone to pass the income tax? And that evening, Ben Young did give us the update that there was 1.6 million left over from 2024 that was found. I think Gina did the same thing. And that they were going to go ahead and move that into this year, divided up into 4 years is 400,000 a year. So what the expectation was by the voters who passed it was there is 400,000 available this year. So I think the question that people are looking for clarification on is what happened to that?
Yeah, so I think that's part of the asphalt budget for this year. I can get you more clear information when I get back. to
Yeah,
office
sure.
tomorrow,
No, that's
but,
fine. I think that's trying to clear up where
yeah.
I think the question's coming from. Yeah.
And then there was a little bit of confusion on West Maple. I thought we had done, that was supposed to be done this year.
It will be this second half of this summer.
Okay, because it was said that they weren't gonna do it.
It'll be next, state fiscal
Fiscal
year.
year.
That might have been the confusion, because the state fiscal year starts July 1st. But
Okay.
It's a little
fiscal
bit,
27, calendar 26.
it gets confusing. It's this year and next year.
So
Current
we're gonna
calendar
be
year,
doing
also
it this
fiscal
year?
Yeah,
Okay,
Mhm.
and that's from Lindy Lane all the way
All
down
the
to
way.
Whipple.
and Jackson's gonna do their part down there at the end. Okay.
Can we get you think that it'd be possible to get a rundown of what monies would be left after all the grant funded projects for this summer, this year?
Yeah.
Because like the Apple Grove project, we only have to, and it's an amazing grant, but we only have to pay 10%, which got for Apple Grove for $50,895. So we're not having to spend as much money maybe as I was thinking we'd have to spend on Apple Grove.
Yeah.
That we're gonna have a lot more funds left over that, you know, I have a hard time sleeping at night with how much everything costs as it is. So it's like not doing anything doesn't really seem like the answer.
Yeah,
We gotta keep doing something as
Yeah.
unattractive as the costs are. It's only gonna get worse as well as our streets. So yeah, I guess if we could get a list of what monies would be left.
Yeah.
And then even if we don't have maybe the funds planned, or, you know, maybe the money hasn't come in yet, are we able to advance that to us just so that we don't miss out on another year of paving?
It's definitely possible. We can talk about that. I'll get you a list and go from there for sure.
Okay.
Plus, you brought up Apple Grove also. That was not in our budget originally because that got moved up. So
Right.
that 50,000 came out of this year's budget and it was not planned. It was supposed to be, I believe, next year. So that got moved up. So that takes a chunk of it out too.
Does that 50 come out of street fund or general fund, or where does that
So-
come from?
So part of it would be water funds over
Okay.
the water line.
Okay,
So
that
part of
makes
the
sense.
water, part of the street.
Okay.
It was anticipated to be closer to 70,000,
Right.
but now 10%.
Yeah,
Something
it was
that came
good.
in lower.
Yeah, I think the engineer's estimate was 841,000. The bid came back at 5,089. And our cost would be the 50,895 for 10%.
I had a constituent, actually, two of them asked me.
Is this part of your report, John, or?
It's a question to the finance department. All right. Is it possible, where do our property taxes go to? So much goes to the school, so much goes to the roads. Can we have a
I
breakdown
can
of?
get you a breakdown. Yeah, I think I recently sent that to Mayor, right?
Yeah,
You
we
know,
did.
Yeah, I think that would be something to really show our
Yeah.
people out there.
percentage breakdown.
Because the schools really do get a lot,
Yeah,
you know, more so than what people think. And,
yeah,
go from there.
for sure.
Sure, great, thanks.
On the auditor's site, you can also see that.
Yeah.
We can show you where it shows someone on your
With
breakdown.
just the city, is that just
Your
city or is it show county?
It's on your property.
If your own personal address is broken down on the auditor's site, you go into tax detail. There's tax
From our website.
summary, and then there's tax detail. It'll say this is going to library, this is going to the streets, this is going to the police, this is going to whatever,
Okay,
property tax levies you have on your property.
okay, good,
Could show
thank
you
you.
how to.
Thanks,
Anything
Jim.
else from finance?
No, I feel like we threw a lot of questions at you, so thank
Yeah,
you.
no,
Yeah.
It's all good stuff, thank you.
We're gonna say economic development for last. I'm not ignoring you. Mr. Ott, do you have a report this evening?
No report other than to kind of play into Tricia, get your gala tickets. It's gonna be a great evening.
Right.
Well,
Fun.
please share.
Hello. So yes, the gala is Friday. Yes, we do have tickets available, but we are still strong. We have 120 people, tickets sold. We still have room for more, but even if we're at 120, we're gonna have a great time. Thomas Jefferson will be in attendance. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I walked through the event with Kiri from Arrowhead today. And we're gonna have a turkey carving station and vegetables and potatoes and all the really kind of Americana hometown feel kind of food. So it should be a really fun evening. So thank you to those of you that have bought your tickets. Those of you who are still considering, please do. We would love to have you. But if you don't come, that's okay. We'll have fun without you. That's all right too. So I would like to recognize the Wenger companies who is our sponsor for the evening for the gala. So we're very happy to have them. So the big news, which is why I'm here, is that I applied for several grants for our America 250 programming, not just for July 4th, but for the entire year, for all of the different programming that we're doing. And I'm very happy to report that the Herbert W. Hoover Foundation awarded us a $25,000 grant for the entire year's activities. That will go towards the gala, the July 4th weekend, our first responders dinner, the history videos that Hoover High School is doing for us, as well as a couple other small things that we're doing throughout the year. So we are very thankful to Herbert Hoover that they have not forgotten us here in North Canton. And so we're very happy to have them to have that grant. I also want to report that we did receive a $10,000 drone sponsorship from Diebold Nixdorf. That was a nice long conversation. I'm thankful to Mike Jacobson at Diebold Nixdorf, who is always fighting for us. Very happy to have him as a partner. And I will tell you that we also have another $10,000 drone sponsor on the hook. So hopefully very soon I will be able to tell you that we have a second $10,000 drone sponsor. Great news. My total budget that I was looking forward to was a $60,000 and we are at $55,000. So I told you guys when I was here a month or so ago that my goal was to cover all of our programming and sponsorships. And if we are lucky, we are going to get real close to that. So I'm so thankful to our sponsors. I want to go ahead and, if that's okay, to recognize them: the North Canton Public Library, Mission View Church, the North Canton Lions Club, the North Canton Rotary, Abbott Electric, Walsh University, the Patriot Project and Tim Novelli, North Canton Collision, Ellsworth Auto Body, Walther's Twin Tavern, Merrimack Troya, Koala Cruisers, the Wenger Company, Viking Glass Station, NOPEC, Koala Cruisers, Beck Electric, Papa Bear's Pizza Oven, Wagoner Chocolates, the Vandervaart Team, CFB Bank, and Bears Lawn and Garden. So we are so thankful to all of them, small and large gifts. So happy to have them. I also want to thank all of you who donated items for our silent auction. We're going to have some fun silent auction items on Friday. Some of my favorites are an Ohio State chair, an Adirondack chair, a tasting at New Berlin Company for 12 with Merrimack, which would be a fun evening, I think. We've got 4 tickets to the Guardians. We have 2 tickets to the Upper Deck Golf Experience up in Cleveland over the summer, and a lot of really other wonderful things too. Bourbon and all the things. So it's gonna be so fun. So, I believe I'm gonna see all of you guys there on Friday. So that's all. Anybody have any questions for me?
Excellent.
Great news, thank you.
Great news. Thank you. Wow. We want to follow that. Mr. McLeese, you go first.
Actually, it's very pertinent that you brought that up, because I was going to thank you, because I am always impressed when I come into City Hall. I usually try to stop in at least once a week and just poke my head in there and get updates. I think you've done a fantastic job, and so I, for one, looking forward to the gala this Friday. And as she said, tickets are still available. Ironic that Mr. Rohrbach came tonight and talked about permits, because I had a recent experience with a permit. So I think I shared the tale of, well, unfortunately needing to get an electric car hooked up. That's a whole nother discussion. But had a water heater put in. And actually, the permit process was extremely easy. It was very painless. I think they might have been there. See Jason's coughing. He couldn't believe it was that painless. So I think they were there for, Mike was there for, I don't know, 5 minutes. So it was very painless. So thanks for that. But also did just want to also thank Catherine. We've collaborated on a couple different things. We've talked, I had a nice conversation earlier this week. Won't share any of that just yet, but also want to thank her and Jason for listening to me talk about some sidewalk issues over in the Ward 1 side of town. So thank you guys.
Is that a free public charging station in your front?
No, it's
No,
not.
oh, just asking.
I am kind of curious if it works. I haven't gotten my car, my company.
I can stop
So
it.
we could, yeah.
Isn't fast charger. Mr. Pratt.
That's, yeah, I guess just to follow up on Mr. Rohrbach's, public speaking tonight, you hit on a bunch of things that is important to probably everyone in the city. And as far as the traffic safety concern, I've received some of those myself for an area close to Arrowhead by the golf course. That's being actively looked into. I mean, speeding through neighborhoods, they seem to be cut throughs pretty much everywhere for some reason. And so as we have trouble spots, we just need to either get them reported to us or to PD for their non-emergency, just so that we can, take care of those isolated incidents or areas of concern. As far as the permits, if the city, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but if the city did not have our own in-house permits department, it would still fall on the county. It's, we're enforcing state law at local level, just essentially to make the process easier than having to go out to the county. You've got people from the city to help you with whatever it is that you want to get worked on. And we do have a good team of people that's willing and ready to help. And if issues arise in that process for you, they're more than willing to help work through that with you. If something needs fixed, then I know they're willing to look into that. And as far as the I guess that's it with Matt, but thanks for voicing your concerns, because I do think that, that hits home for a lot of people. The master plan was my next question. If we got an update on that, I know we keep talking about it's coming, but
We did receive it. So the steering committee will meet. So it was in on the 21st of April is the date that they sent an email draft, and then we will, I think we're looking to be about May 7th. I don't know if we, nailed down a date yet. But yeah, we'll look at it, and then we'll give some feedback, and then I don't know, a couple weeks or so before we'll probably bring it, forward. And I think the timing will be really good, because we have the position posted right now for the Parks Planning Director and Development Director, and it'll be a couple weeks of interviews, couple weeks, and maybe we get a decision. Maybe they have to give a couple weeks to their job, so we'll probably have it, late or mid to late May, and then they'll start in June, hopefully. That's the goal.
And, as far as streets, paving, there's a few streets that are especially bad. I hope we can do more this year, just so that we don't fall behind, but, Rob, our engineer, he's not here, but he truly has our best interest and does an amazing job. Every time he's here, everyone talks to him and usually gives him the same praises, but it's amazing what he can get done and what he saves us in the city. So thanks to him, we're getting Apple Grove handled. So yeah, just shout out to Rob. I think for
Thanks, Mr. Stockard.
Thank you. First, I would like to restate my thanks to Catherine, to our Parks and Rec Chair, Christina, and YMCA Vice President of Operations, Jennifer Anderson, on the incredible collaboration that it took on the new and the more resident-friendly admissions policy for Dogwood Pool. There have been a lot of applicants over the years for a lot of things relating to Dogwood Pool. But Catherine and Christina did a lot of work behind the scenes to bring this home. So I just wanted to thank them again for that effort. Secondly, a reminder that the fire hydrant flushing in the city continues. The west side of town was taken care of last week. This week, it's the east side. And there's a note on the website that talks about that if residents or city users of the system, if they experience discoloration, they should be checking their water before they launder for discoloration. And if there is, they should be contacting the city through phone or the online form that is there and available. And then lastly, I would like to congratulate Mayor Matt Stroya on what might have been the best ceremonial first pitch in the history of North Canton. It was absolutely straight. It was piped right down the middle. Saturday was opening day at NCLL, and even though the weather was not perfect, it was still a great day. Personally, after the Saturday morning ceremonies, I headed over to Dick Miller Field, which is the Hoover varsity baseball field, to watch my third varsity baseball game in 4 days. It was a very good week for Hoover baseball. It was highlighted by dominant victories over the team in purple that played out west, and the number 5 team in Division I, Medina, beat both teams 6-0. Kind of interesting. When I looked out on the field on Saturday, I took note that every single starting player and then the 2 relief pitchers that came in afterwards for Hoover, they were all former North Canton League kids. And that may not seem unusual to people. You'd think North Canton Little League, North Canton Hoover, but that has definitely not always been the case. And in this day and age of youth travel baseball, and especially in the era of open enrollment in high school, it is very important and very notable. This year, North Canton Little League is home to over 260 players that spread across 26 teams in 3 age divisions. The games are played every weeknight with the exception of Friday, and then there are 2 divisions that play on Saturdays. Unfortunately, there are a lot of things in this world, in this country right now that are not awesome or great, but North Canton is one of those things. North Canton Little League is one of those things that is awesome and great. And I hope that if people have the time here in the spring, in the early summer, they find their way to the Hoover Community Recreation Park on East Maple. You will definitely see a slice of what is good with our country and our community. And don't forget to visit the concession stand. As Humphrey Bogart once famously said, a hot dog at the ballpark is better than a steak at the Ritz. So, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wyron.
All right. I think I'd just like to take a minute to kind of reflect on, as Trisha was speaking, well, congratulations, Trisha. Like, this is amazing, but it just was a reminder to me that this is what being intentional gets us, right? We've been talking for years about adding someone who's dedicated to the community and to marketing and economic development. And I was looking back at our master plan from 2023, where it mentions that our focus is having an active pedestrians core, pride of place. Have we ever had we've never had flags like that people could buy for their homes, right? That's really exciting. Downtown support, and just opening the door to new businesses. So I think, combined, I just feel like this is coming together. I feel like between the DART assessment team that we have coming in next week, which is something that has just been, I don't know, a dream of mine for so long. And then the way that whenever you look at all of those sponsors, I mean, companies don't always like the government, right? So the fact that so many of them are supporting what we're doing, I just think it's a really big deal. And so I'm grateful that this council and everyone supported adding this position and that you're doing such a great job.
Thank you. Mr. Orr?
Just a couple things. Thank everyone who came out tonight. We really appreciate it. It's nice to see a few more faces, which is good. Tricia, thank you so much for all you do, and I can't wait to be there. I called the non-emergency number today at North Canton Police Department, telling Chief Kemp, wow, they did a great job. My dog had gone through my front door and she took off. And she doesn't like other dogs, and I'm a little worried. My wife's out of town. I know. But
Way to go, John.
So we found her. She's over here. Guy's walking her on a leash with two other dogs. My dog doesn't like other dogs, but she's lucky, So great job. The girls they do a fine job out there. We do live in a great city, and the other thing I was a little confused. I got a letter from our aggregate, NOPEC, sent me, well, I don't belong to them. So so my wife, she made a couple calls. She goes, we don't belong here. We shouldn't have got a letter. I thought those letters were only gonna go out to customers. I guess they went out to everybody.
They did.
Okay, in the city. I thought they were only gonna go out to.
It's still, the rates and the aggregation program that the city's in,
Right,
but you've chosen to opt out of it.
right. I have
Something
solar
else.
panels and stuff of that
Oh,
nature.
you do? Oh,
I have another zero bill.
good for you.
The sun does shine on Ward 4. So, thank you, Mr. Pratt, for all you do with the roads and stuff of that nature. I appreciate that. Haven't got too many calls, so. And we have a great administrative team, so thank you.
Does your wife know your dog got loose?
She
No.
does now.
She does. Yeah, she does.
Are you telling me an entire city heard about it?
Oh, yeah.
before your wife?
You see a chocolate lab out there. She won't bite.
John, this is on YouTube now.
That's-
Lives forever on the internet.
That's right.
Ms. Pierpont?
Okay, couple things. Mr. Warbaugh, thank you for everything that you said. You're actually kind of channeling a couple things I was going to touch on tonight, so I won't repeat some of it. But I do think there is more clarification needed on the streets cost, the funding, all of that. I do have constituents asking me. And so anything you can pull together, I know it'll be better than what we're trying to put together in our heads. If we can throw a street on the list as a priority, I think Pershing by the school bus garage is just a hot mess. It's the best word I can use for it. I drive it every day. I have walked it recently at the request of a constituent. There's a lot of different things going on there that are structurally just wrecking cars. Like, I'm sure alignments are a mess. So if we can throw that one as an urgent matter whenever we can get to something, I know it won't be quick, but that's getting a lot of attention by the community. North Canton Little League opening day is near and dear to my heart. I've had 3 boys play there, a husband managed there. I remain a board member there now. I'm in my 11th year. And it is like a holiday in North Canton. It really is. And we do have something very special here. I get a little sappy every time we have that ceremony. We have very traditional things that we do. You know, we parade the kids around. We state every single player's name out loud. Their parents, you can hear them behind you cheering. It's a moment for families in this town. And I mean, this season we have a great number of kids signed up. We have more teams than we've had recently. So something good is going on there. It continues to. We're really glad that you were there with us. You did throw one heck of a pitch. I was sure to capture it on film for all. But you know, somebody, a fellow board member on his Facebook page the other day said it best. He's like, North Canton Little League still continues to provide basic fun for kids in this community. You do not have to try out. There are no cuts. Come play baseball with us. These are lifetime memories that are made. So that was an excellent. It was cold. It was a little chilly. We had a lot of rain, a lot of fields to fix that day, and you did not see yours truly fixing fields, but we had volunteers that put a lot of sweat and elbow grease into that. So thank you to all of them. You know, we talked about Dogwood Pool. Jeff, I heard you talk about Dogwood Pool, and you know, I've been vocal for a long time about access for residents, and I know that I've talked to Christina and Catherine at length about this. And Catherine, I know you're seeking some answers for some questions I sent you, so I won't talk about all that tonight, but I'm just going to say I'm not convinced we have it down yet. The access for residents to me is a cumbersome process, and I walked myself in. I pretended like I was a resident filling out this new form, and I'm not sure I understand the need for it, to be honest. And the gal behind the desk said to me, "You're the first person we've had fill one out." So
Yeah,
one,
there is only one. They gave me the stats today. You
Yeah.
are the only one.
yeah, and I told her I'm a council person. I actually already had popped my pass, so I told her what I was doing. She was great. But a couple things. I think one, it's not communicated well. I think on the YMCA website, that information is way at the bottom, tucked away in an FAQ section that you have to expand to even read. So I'm not sure that it's really shared with the public as much as it could be, and I would like to see them maybe move that around, get the word out. Put it on their Dogwood Pool social media account. I don't know why they haven't yet, to be honest with you. But this is a process that I think we're getting closer. Citizens now have access on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and holidays except the 4th, I think. But I do think it's a little bit strange to me that a resident in the city has to walk in and fill out a form to gain that access. But if I live in Massillon, I can show up Monday through Thursday and not fill out anything. And so it's a little bit of an imbalanced treatment of people showing up at the pool. And so I would encourage further conversation with them. I think there's more opportunity to get that nailed down better than it currently is. But I wanted to go through that activity myself and see what it was like before I commented on it. And so I think we can continue to have conversations. A lot of us toured Dogwood Pool last week. So we could all see it without water in it. So we all understand, you know, the liner. We've talked about the liner a lot. We're going to put water in it soon, I think.
It's filling up as we speak.
Awesome.
It's been filling up.
So, you know, cross your fingers, it all goes well. So I would like to thank Steve Shank. He gave us all a great tour. I've been educated greatly. And then just as I arrived, if some of you remember, I had asked in a prior council report about taking care of brown bees, and they had done that. And so I think that will make a lot of people happy. So thank you for that. The last thing I'll mention is I've had constituents reach out to me because in the paper this week, it was mentioned that there is, I guess, going to be a for sale sign going up in the front yard for the Hoover building. And, you know, I learned about it just like most people learned about it. And the questions that come to me are, does that mean the city's not going to do anything about the building? And the answer is no. I mean, I have looked for myself. We are continuing with property code enforcement. And we're doing it in a very good way. That's public record information that can be sought out by anybody. I'm carrying around a list of it with myself for future reference for those phone calls I'm getting. But we won't stop. We won't stop with the property code enforcement. We'll continue to do the job that the city's supposed to do. Our permits people are fantastic. And code enforcement is on it as far as I can tell. So I feel good about that. And, you know, hopefully somebody does step forward with interest in the building and we have something good come from that. But in the meantime, I'm confident in telling my constituents that the city is taking care of code enforcement the way that they the canvas, so. That's everything I had. That's my report.
To that, I'll just say is a sign will be going in the yard also. So if you've read about it in the repository or you read about it online, that's one thing, but some people don't. And
Yeah.
but people driving down Main Street are gonna look over and see a sign, so you may get more
I
questions.
think that's
like,
really gonna kick up
"What?
the
It's
calls.
for
yes.
sale?"
For
Whoever
sure.
wants to buy it.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up, I just want to say how proud I am to be a part of North Canton. In the everyday moments, neighbors checking on one another, volunteers showing up, residents speaking of good care. We see what makes this community special. As we head into the coming days, let's keep looking out for one another, especially those who may need a hand or a kind word. Progress doesn't always come from big moments. It comes from small acts done together. I'll close with a reminder to all. Helen Keller once said, "Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much." That spirit lives right here in North Canton. Thank you. Thank you all for your time, your service, and your commitment to our neighbors. A great evening. Now we will ask for final call for new business. Seeing none, move to the meetings calendar, May 4th, Committee of the Whole, May 11th, City Council meeting with public speaks, and May 18th, Committee of the Whole. There will be no meeting on May 25th. That is a holiday, Memorial Day.
Should we, think about maybe having a council meeting also on the 18th? Have a dual, because we only have one meeting that month.
I think it will depend on what's on the agenda, but it is certainly an option. Okay. All right. I will accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.